Okay, so good evening, everyone. We are live with the alumni session 2. So I am Arya Bhattacharya. I am the training secretary for this tenure, and we have with us on board Omkar Amlan Krishna, who is the 2025 undergraduate and alumnus of Electrical Engineering Department. He is working as an associate, AVP at Wells Fargo, and he would share his insights and experiences on how he secured both on-campus and off-campus offers. And we would get to learn more about him as we progress through the session. And so we can it would be a nice pleasure if you could start with a brief introduction of yourself, and we could continue off with the rest of the questions.
Sure, no problem. So is everyone chill with Hindi English mix, or do you want me to go with strictly English? We'll keep it limited to English, no problem. So hello everyone, this is Omkar Amlan Krishna. As my headline goes, I'm a corporate mazdoor right now, but yeah, on paper, I'm an assistant vice president, program associate at Wells Fargo. Right now, I'm with core banking platform team. Coming from an AI background, going straight into a bank is a change of pace. But yeah, what I've learned in my very brief career in corporate is you can do anything as long as you ask the right people and you irritate them enough number of times. So yeah, despite being in a bank, I work more or less on the AI side of things. I wouldn't call it expertise, but yeah, my alignment is mostly with the AI side of stuff as well, if it wasn't clear already. And yeah, before we begin with the questions, I'll just quickly like to set the tone. For the third years who are joining in, I'm barely 2 years senior to you. So there's nothing no magic pill that I can give to you, which you won't learn by yourself. And to all the second years who are joining in, I'm 3 years elder to you. So by the time you come into my position, the stack that I'm working on will probably be outdated. So what I want to imply by that is, do not follow exactly along what I'm doing. Try to understand the philosophy as to why I chose this path. It is very important that you question for yourself as to why I need to make this decision, as opposed to this guy did it, so I need to do it as well. Yeah, I think that's enough from my side.
Okay. So, Omkar, like as you said, why is the most important question that people might have in mind while choosing this career? So, we would like to understand what initially sparked your interest in choosing the technical or the software domain in general.
Okay, no fancy answers. Straight up, it was a cool tech stack. AI to an untrained eye is very cool. Once you dive in, you understand it's just a bunch of tokens being passed around. And the next word, next token completion thing that is carrying the entirety of the AI stack today. But yeah, fairly good question since I'm from an electrical engineering background and chose to still go into software. That is, again, because of the salary packages initially. And secondly, once I got into the nitty gritty of software stuff, the problem solving aspect of it did entice me, which is why a lot of people who are interested in problem solving, a lot of people who like to tackle challenges, I would say are attracted to software in general. And in case any of you in chat also like that, my first order of business, do as many hackathons as you can, do as many side projects as you can. Nothing can replace that experience. So yeah, more or less, I like solving problems, made up problems sometimes, genuine problems sometimes, which is why I chose this path. Yeah.
Okay. So talking about the stacks that you had chosen, so what were the technical skills that you had focused, or you would advise people who are preparing for their internship or placement drives to focus on at this current scenario?
Okay, cool. Look, starting off, I'm believing most of you are undergraduates. Very few, maybe master's level people will also be in chat. But yeah, one thing that you cannot negotiate on is DSA. No matter what someone tells you, if you want an on-campus offer, if you want those big packages that are marketed everywhere, which I know is why 90% of the people choose software in the first place, you cannot negotiate with DSA. DSA, I'm not saying you have to be an expert, you have to be a candidate master on code forces, but it should be at a level where you're not blank the moment you see a question. You should have the ability to iterate over it, think over it, and maybe come up with a potential solution. Take that as step one. Moving forward, I understand DSA boring hota hai. No going around it. There's very few people who enjoy DSA. There was a brief stint of my time as well where I enjoyed doing it. But yeah, to break the monotony, pick up development. Don't stress over should I go with an AI stack, should I go with a back-end focused thing, should I go with a full stack thing. Whatever entices you, whatever excites you, pick it up. And yeah, considering how heavy the AI market is right now, It's not that tough. Firstly, it's not that tough. Get your fundamentals of development clear, and then maybe you can upskill a little bit in AI. I would say the people who are able to climb up the corporate ladder the fastest and the people who bag the biggest offers are very skilled backend engineers who try to upskill in AI. So yeah, my order of business: DSA, development, focus on your development fundamentals, and upskill in AI. Those 4 points. That's it.
Okay. So that has been very well put, and the steps have been, I guess that has been clear to the chat. So like, I would like what the next question that I have in mind would be like, how did you build your resume to actually align with the roles that you had in mind or you were targeting?
Oh, okay. So yeah, starting off, your excuse the team MS Teams pings in the background.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
still on the clock technically. So yeah, going forward with the resume, since most of the chart is second and third years, build whatever you want for now. I know the training committee pressurizes you a lot to get the perfect resume. I used to do the same, but trust me, you won't get your perfect resume in the first go, second go, or even in the fifth go. It will take continuous refinement. Reach out to people like Arya, reach out to people, other people from the training committee, and refine your resume. पहली बार में it's not perfect, that's not on you. But 6 months later, if your resume is still lackluster, that's totally on you. ठीक है? So yeah, coming back to the question. Firstly, yeah, I'm guessing you're asking more along the lines of projects because work experience, whoever has work experience, they'll fill it in. Degree sabki more or less fixed hai, you know, playing around there. Build projects. That's all I can say. Build projects. Look up. Be very active on Medium. Be very active on platform. Keep track of what is popular on GitHub. Upscale yourself in whatever is relevant, whatever is popular, and build projects around that. And yeah, coming back to role specific resume building, I don't think that is something that is very important right now unless you have something very specific in mind. Like I am still learning and I'm still on track to doing this, but yeah, was very interested in quantitative finance and HFTs. So I do have a specific template that I follow for software engineering and quantitative finance. But yeah, unless you are very much aligned with a given field, a general software engineering resume will get you very far. That should have a decent number of projects. Again, it should cover everything. Firstly, decent number of projects that show your development skill. Make sure your projects have some, not all, but even one of your project has a decent amount of AI and LLM use. Always go on to Hugging Face. You don't need to pay for a key for everything. Free stuff is great out there right now. Open source AI coding is great right now. And next up, for your achievements, which is arguably one of the most important sections that I believe makes my resume stand out. Do hackathons, give competitions. That's it. You don't need to stress over I'm not good enough, I can't do this yet. But yeah, don't self reject. Keep on building projects, keep on applying to hackathons. You'll get in a decent number of projects in no time.
Yeah. So in the process of building the resume, people are often like confused like what to put and what not to put. So like, are there any resources or like did you any use any resources in your own preparation journey that you found was genuinely useful or helpful for your preparation and that you would
You
like
gave
to
them
pass on?
you gave them a resume building template, right?
Yeah. We do have
Yeah,
that, but
that is
apart from
everything I
that,
use.
okay. Apart from that, were there any channels or like any other specific sources that people could find useful in their own
Okay.
preparation?
Yeah. I believe you're referring to ATS scoring and stuff like that when it
Yeah,
comes to
build like adding some numbers and so that would be very important if that comes from you or if any other tips that might prove
that.
useful in general.
Understood. Again, I think this is something you guys must have covered. The template that
Yeah.
you're using right now, that was built by the last year's training committee, which I was a part of. So yeah, include numbers, very basic stuff. Include numbers. Make sure whenever you're writing down your projects, it's in bullet points. First up, your problem statement, yeah, for your objective that you're trying to solve. Next up, how you approach that problem. Thirdly, any specific call outs to specific or relevant tech stacks that you have used. That's popping and that's hot right now. And lastly, your metrics, success metrics. How did you measure if this project did what it was supposed to do? That the metrics is where your numbers generally come in, and that is what I believe is great for ATS scoring as well. So yeah, just use the template that these guys have given to you. That is very optimized for ATS, and I think you should be good. Just keep these points in mind: bullet points, objective, Your approach, how it solved the problem, metrics.
Like, apart from the resume, like, if we can actually move on to the internship and how, like, could you please walk us through how you secured an internship at Wells Fargo and Rakuten as well? So how to, like, set a target for these big companies and how to actually secure these offers?
Oh, okay, cool. Look, for Wells Fargo, I know it's more of a financial institute. So there's always a question that comes up in people's minds: do I need to know some degree of good amount of mathematics to get in, a little bit of finance? Short answer, no. In India, Wells Fargo is a straight up software engineering company. Nothing more, nothing less. Whatever company comes in on campus for software engineering, you need to have your DSA fundamentals right and all that I mentioned previously. As to how I exactly got into this, so yeah, it's the standard template. You grind DSA, you make sure your projects are good, you develop nice projects, the projects that you can showcase, and yeah, this is one thing that I notice a lot. You build there's two kinds of people which are very common. Number one, I have an interview coming up in like 2-3 days, and I have no projects, so I simply copy off of someone. Not a bad, it is not the most ideal thing. You should have projects of your own. And secondly, people who build projects and are then unable to explain them. Both of these people fall into a same category because you do not even it doesn't matter if you know what their project does. If you are not able to put it forward, your interviewer would not know. And thereby, they will categorize you as someone who either copied this project or has no understanding how this project works in the backend. Right. For clearing your OTs on campus, I understand it's frustrating sometimes when you do your best, solve a lot of questions, and you're still not shortlisted. The thing is, that is not in our control. The only thing you can do is solve as many as you can, as fast as you can, and hope to get shortlisted. Once you do get shortlisted, it depends on the company. Like there are companies like Google, Microsoft, who go in, even Amazon, who go in heavy into DSA. If you mess up their DSA rounds, it's almost done. And there's some other companies who focus on your development as well. Wells, I believe, is somewhere of a middle ground. Uh, End of day, it's your resume that can guide the course of the interview as well. I remember when my internship interviews were going on, because I did not sit for a FT interview for Wells. I was a PPO convert. So yeah, when the internship interviews were going on for Wells Fargo, almost every other person apart from me in the interview cycle was asked two problems of DSA, one SQL coding problem, and I believe a quick rundown of the resume. But since I was fairly confident in my DSA, but my projects were my strong point. That is where I wanted to drive the interview. Since my projects had a lot of substance compared to a lot of my peers, since there were a lot of achievements associated to these projects, my interview first jumped into my projects and achievements and then followed up to DSA. It's your resume that can largely dictate how your interview flows. Again, this will vary company to company, but till you get shortlisted, focus on your DSA, grind DSA. Once you get shortlisted, make sure you know whatever, at least you know whatever is written in your own resume. That's the very basic bare minimum for on-campus stuff. Rakuten was something that I bagged off campus off of a hackathon. Hackathon mein, yes, you go in, you build products. You build products based off of problem statements that a company provides you. That is easier because you know what to solve for. But yeah, go if at all any of you go to a good national level, state level hackathon, wherein you are getting to pitch your product in front of a decent, distinguished panel. Make sure you network. My internship at Rakuten was not because I won the hackathon. It was because I networked well. I made a major connection at Rakuten during the course of the hackathon. Sri Kumar Satpathy, he has been a guiding figure throughout my career. He's currently a director at Rakuten. I struck up a decent conversation with him. We got to talk a lot, both before and after my final presentation. And after the results were announced and I was looking for a 6-month internship, all I had to do was shoot him a message on LinkedIn. Okay, I'm looking for a 6-month internship. Please let me know if there are any openings available. And he straight up linked me to an HR. So yeah, again, TLDR. Firstly, on campus, till you get shortlisted, grind DSA. And there are some companies I know that focus on dev as well. They give you take-home projects. But yeah, primary being grind DSA. Once you do get shortlisted, know whatever is written in your resume and structure it well. That's it.
Okay. So continuing from what you said, like hackathons play an important role or a pivotal figure in securing offers if they're off campus. So since you have achieved significant milestones in hackathons, and so what actually there are two parts of this question, Omkar. So what actually motivated you to actually participate in those hackathons, and what would like how would you motivate other people to join in, or how to effectively prepare for that for the hackathons? Because there have been people who have been like, I've never participated in hackathons before, or like what I should put in, or I don't find teams which are as like that could actually help me through or guide me through. So there are two parts, as of which are like what motivated you, and the second part of which is like how would you like tell the students to join, or like how would you guide them to effectively prepare for the hackathons if they're first timers or build their projects for the same.
Okay, yeah, this is actually a great question. So, firstly, if I were to motivate someone to go into a hackathon, firstly, you have to want to go to a hackathon. I'll tell you one thing: a hackathon is not chill. It's not fun all the time. There will be times when a hackathon is very fun, and once you get that high, you'll want to go back, back, back. That's what's happening to me right now. I went in one hackathon with a couple of my friends, did not bag anything there. In fact, for the first couple or three hackathons that I tried out, I bagged absolutely nothing. I didn't even qualify to the nationals. It's just that you sit down, you go in person to a venue, you build with your friends, and there is a point where you get a high. I mean, that's the most unproblematic way I can put it. I get high off of hackathons. So yeah, so yeah, just building in a fast-paced environment that is very chill. If you are somewhat of a masochist and you take in overworking yourself to be chilling, yeah, it's a fast-paced environment where you build stuff fast, fail fast, fix fast in real time, and go with your friends. It doesn't matter if you don't have a team that complements your skill set. Go with your friends, no problem. Eventually, while you're out with your friends, either your friends upskill or people find you. So yeah, for the first couple of hackathons that I went in with my friends, some of them are still my go-to permanent hackathon crew. A lot of other people found me because of my hackathon network, and yeah, uh, if I were to motivate you, firstly, it has to come from within you that I want to build something. I want to build a project in a live setting, in a fast paced environment based off of a real problem statement that I've been given or that I've found out. Right. And इससे ज़्यादा I don't think there is anything that you can motivate someone to go to a hackathon unless it's coming from within you. Maybe it's not meant for you. But yeah, it's all I can say is it's fast paced, and failing fast and fixing fast is kind of really fun once you get the hang of it. Secondly, for the people who are trying to figure out how do I do hackathons effectively, and for the people who are saying ki, yeah, maybe I am not at the level where I can go to a hackathon. There is no level for going to a hackathon. If you get shortlisted, you go. That's it. Don't self reject. That is the first rule that I'll always mention. That is a rule that will never go out of fashion. Don't self reject. Be it hackathons, be it an opportunity that you think you're underqualified for. There's HR teams sitting down, there's hiring teams sitting down in companies for a reason. If they don't think you're qualified, they won't shortlist you. You don't need to do their job. They are there for a reason. You apply. If they were to shortlist you, go. Don't think twice. And go with a crew. That will be fun, firstly. And so there's no skill level. Let's just get that out of the way. There is no skill level, no barrier to entry in a hackathon. If you get shortlisted, go. How do you do hackathons effectively? Yeah, don't fall into the trap of making your product the best. Okay? That is what I believe I fucked up for the first few hackathons. I tried to make my products functionally the best. There has to be every single functionality that I mentioned in my pitch deck. Every single server is pulling live data. There is no hard coding. That is not how you perform well at hackathons. Hackathons is partly about building products and partly about pitching. I would argue it's more heavier on the pitching side. So make sure you're building a simple POC or a MVP at max. POC stands for proof of concept. Proof of concept that my product, the idea that I'm pitching, is a genuine use case and it actually works. MVP is a minimum viable product. Again, POC ka bada bhai. That's it. You don't need to get into the nitty-gritty details. Okay. Just go for a POC, MVP. You don't need to build an enterprise level full working product. Focus on your pitch. And when I say pitch, I mean your presentation, your PPT, and how you're presenting yourself. There has to be a story around your pitch. You have to catch the attention of your judges. Otherwise, my thumb rule while judging is, which I have done a few times during college itself. My thumb rule of judging is if you can't hold my attention, I'm not shortlisting you. And trust me, that is what a lot of judges in hackathons do. If you can't hold their attention, if you're not interesting enough, they will probably not shortlist you, even if your product is the best. So when it comes to doing well at hackathons, focus on your pitch. Make sure your product is presentable. That's it.
Okay. Coming down and like into the internships that you've done, like you have spent quite a lot of time in internships in the corporate scenario. So what were some of the few key learnings that you like grasped when you would learn like to carry that on or take that on to the next few people who would be entering the corporate setting in a few more months? So what would be the few of the key learnings that you learned, and like how are they useful in converting them, and how did they help you in converting your offer into a full-time offer at Wells Fargo?
Okay, this is for people who have bagged an internship and going to
Yeah,
step into corporate, right? Oh,
correct. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, again, I will not give you the technical learnings that I had because they are going to go out of fashion very soon. Trust me, 2 years, 3 years is very long for any trend to be in place. So the more general advices that I'll give is, again, this will sound very cliche, but be curious. And now for the more less cliche things, irritate your seniors. There is not a problem in the world. You are an intern. It doesn't matter if you irritate people who are senior to you. Just ping your SD1s, your associate engineers constantly. How do I do this? How do I do this? Is there some specific access that I need to get for this? Is there some other? This is what I think of the problem statement. Is there some way that you would tweak it? And don't stay limited to like SD1s and associate engineers. You can go as high as you want. My manager at Rakuten was a director, and God knows I have bothered him way too much. And even currently in Wells Fargo, you bother people. That's it. And I mean, don't get very nosy. When I said bother people, it's just that if you are facing a problem, make sure they know. And don't just go with problems all the time. Go in with problems, a simple template. This is what problem I'm facing. This is what I think. Can it be implemented? If not, what do you suggest? And just stay in this loop of getting feedback. Unless you get enough feedback in the formative years of your career, it is fairly easy to fall into a slouch, fall into a pit. And yeah, if there's anything that you think this is something that I can't do in this company, trust me, it's not true. Once you go into a decent sized corporate, they're running almost every kind of programs. Even major banks run hire blockchain engineers. So you just need to bother your manager. You need to tell him, this is what I want. This is what I want. Is there any team that you think I'll be a good fit for? I would like to help in this part. That is exactly how I got into AI at Wells Fargo. Yeah.
So, so taking this away, so networking would be a very important facet of this, of this skill set. So that is one of the most
Correct.
important things. So, what are the you have listed down the strategies that networking plays an important role? Were there any important strategies in applying to off-campus opportunities, or like some of them which you personally used or you feel might be useful for the people who would be come sitting for the off-campus drives or off-campus placements?
Look, I understand LinkedIn is outdated. Okay. But you kind of have to grind there a little. You need to have the right connections in the right places. And a good LinkedIn network isn't built in a day. It took me roughly 2 years to get a decently sized network where I'm not just blindly following and connected with everyone, but I know most of them. Again, to get a good off campus offer, I will always suggest go for a hackathon. Be it corporate, be it student level, be it a independent hackathon. You get to meet people there, and that is where you form meaningful connections, right? And next up, if I there's WhatsApp communities now. That is very convenient, is what I believe. Most of the offers or the openings that I see even before Telegram are in these WhatsApp communities. So join these, be a part of them, apply it to whatever fits your bill. And yeah, I don't think I've said this enough. Go to hackathons, dude. Go to hackathons. If you think a hackathon is not a good fit for you, just go to some other competitions or at least grind LinkedIn as much as you can. But yeah, go to hackathons.
Like hackathons and resume, they are the most integral aspects of people who are actually sitting for placements or internships in the upcoming months. So, coming to the next, this other side of the coin would be the mistakes, right? So, people, while like navigating through this entire journey, they do make mistakes, or you must have like seen people committing those mistakes. Some of them which prove to be very fatal, or some of them are not that fatal. So, like, which of the mistakes would you actually like suggest people not making, or they should not make those mistakes, and like what are the steps in not doing them, and like if we could list them down a little bit or break
Dude,
that down.
I have not only seen people do these mistakes, I've done these mistakes. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like personally. Yeah.
if
So
I
if you could,
if yeah, if I mention some mistakes that you think you're doing right now, no need to worry. There's You are meant to fuck up in college, and that's not a problem. It's just that you identify these patterns early on and quit them. That's all it takes. Okay. First mistake that I have seen a lot. I wanted to mention this even if this question was not brought up. The trend of jumping ship. You are a backend engineer today. You want to pivot to front end tomorrow. Backend front end to फिर भी related है. You're a backend engineer today. You want to divert fully into data science tomorrow. You want to go to analytics the next day. फिर एक semester CG अच्छी आ गई तो you want to go into core now. Don't jump ships. ठीक है. There's exceptional people. I will not disagree with that. There's people like Arya. I think तेरी CG भी बहुत है, right? There's exceptional people. There's no arguing that. Who can do great in core, who can do great in software parallelly. You don't have to be that. You have to pick a field and try your best to be the best in that field. For me personally, I just tried my, and yeah, don't jump ship, number one. And number two, while I say this, don't think कि भैया बोल रहे हैं कि now we have to just let go of our core curriculum if we are not in a computer science related branch. No, you have to make sure you just pass by with a decent CGPA as well. ठीक है. So yeah, number one, don't jump ship. If you think this is not the right fit for you career-wise, maybe you made a hasty decision. Maybe you wanted to explore your core, but you got caught up in the hype of software and you are doing software now. It's okay. If you feel like you're in the wrong field, switch and don't question yourself a lot. I understand. I've seen a fair share of people who switch the fields that they want to go into, and they've done great in there as well. Okay. It's just that don't fall into the loop of constantly questioning myself. Did I take the right decision here? Did I take the right decision here? Was software the right decision? Will hardware be the same? Should I go into analytics? Pick one thing, stick to it. If you want to explore software, give it 6 months minimum. If you want to explore hardware core, give it 6-8 months minimum. Core ke liye to 6-8 months is way too less as well. But yeah, so give it a good amount of time. Don't jump ship way too often. Secondly, don't ignore your core curriculum excessively. I understand attendance policy is still 85%, right? Yeah, I understand attendance policy is a little rigid at our place, but yeah, make sure you are fitting into those attendance policies still. Don't leave anything up to the mercy of your professors or higher ups. Ki, okay, I'll give them a request. Maybe they'll consider, maybe they'll not. That's a lot of panic, a lot of anxiety. Yeah, what if not me? You get a lot of anxiety and you lose out valuable time. It's not. I understand it's kind of mentally straining going to class, maintaining your 85% attendance. But yeah, try to maintain the bare minimum at the very least. Pass by your subjects with a decent CGPA. I will say, I won't say ki 7 rakh lo, that's enough. No, get as high as you can. If you think you can get a 9, go for it. You have to give your effort in your core curriculum as well. Maybe not 100%. Divide your attention to make sure you strike a balance. You need to strike a balance. That's where it comes in.
okay. So these mistakes would cover one aspect of it. The other aspect is like as you said, people are often find themselves vacillating between different career options. So like, how would one stay consistent or motivated? Because it's a long and like very long journey for people. Some people, so it might be people that they lose motivation or consistency in the middle of that. So what would be
Correct.
some of the very some of the very integral aspects that you personally followed, or you would suggest people in following or taking up those or following those methods to be consistent or motivated throughout the preparation journey?
Yeah, look, all advice I can give is mostly from a software, very barely from a data science perspective. I don't know that much about core. Maybe in your future sessions you can bring this up as well. But yeah, when it comes to software or even data science for that matter, if you're getting bored very soon, I think this either you need to change up your strategy for studying or this field may not be for you. When questions of software and data science, even analytics is involved, considering the number of data science that has crept its way into analytics today, there's something new happening every single day, right? I used to work heavily with Llama, just for the people who are interested in AI and data science a little bit. I used to work heavily with Llama Index, LangChain back when I was in college. Turns out LangChain is something that is fairly outdated today. LangGraph has taken its place. That was released last October, and I came to know about it in March. I have lost touch as well. I am not as on top of trends as I used to be. right? There's something new happening every time. If you feel you're getting bored, and yeah, I'll not say I never got bored. I did get bored. Take a break. Go around. You don't have to give everything to your career. Dude, I was a fan of powerlifting. I competed a lot in powerlifting. Build yourself outside of your career as well. If you get bored, that is fine. Go do something else. And if you come back and you still think this career path is not for me, well, maybe it's a time we took a decision. Maybe we consider alternate paths without second guessing ourselves way too much. That's it.
Okay. Like narrowing down, this session is actually having people from second and third years. So, like, if you could just down the final like a list of like how to plan, how would they plan, like how would people plan their journey from the second year onwards. So, and moving on to the second year and third year. So, how would that part of their journey should ideally look like?
Dude, again, same advice. Extremes play, don't play on your extremes. I'll give everything to my career. I'll burn myself out in the next 2 weeks. No. Or I'll chill out completely. I won't do anything. I'll just chill out and party. No. There is a middle ground. Make sure you're studying hard. Make sure you're prepping hard. And make sure you're partying hard. Dude, everyone, I mean, your batch at least knows I love my parties. So, yeah. So, yeah, make sure you have everything on track. For me personally, ऐसा होता था कि I love building projects. That is why I did so many hackathons. But yeah, wasn't a active hackathon at all times. Be observant. There used to be stuff that I used to hear about, maybe on an online forum, maybe on Stack Overflow, maybe somewhere on an off-mentioned GitHub thing or a Discord comment. There is this genuine thing that I don't know how to figure out. That one statement of there is this that I don't know how to figure out could be an entire project. There's inspiration everywhere. You just have to be out there. That is what I say what I mean when I say ki as a student in college particularly, where you have a decent amount of time on your hands. Yes, I say that as a student of NIT Rourkela who had to maintain 85% attendance, you have a lot of time on your hands. Trust me. Once you step into corporate, there's not that much time on your hands anymore. So yeah, there is a decent amount of time you have on your hands. Explore stuff and look at forums. I don't know how people look up stuff on the core side of stuff. But yeah, when it comes to software engineering, data science, go on Kaggle. Even go on a hackathon Discord service. ETHGlobal's Discord service is great. Just join it and look up common problems on GitHub. There is this one thing that we don't know how to figure out. Join a random small budding open source community that you just find is fun. Solve a couple of issues there. Your PR may get rejected. I have more rejected PRs than accepted ones. But yeah, in the process of building lies your learning. You can't learn unless you build and fail.
So like if it would be very nice if you could actually put this into software terms. Like there are like various fields that people actually are confused into, right? There are ML, there's DL, there's like absolutely like into the software industry there might be open source people who are very much into open sourcing. There might be people who are very much into CP and all. Like, so how would they actually like get to know their niche, or how would they actually get to know where they would flare in the longer run? So how would they get to identify that part of that? Because that is very important for someone to start off with. So whether it's machine learning or deep learning for them, whether it's like pure open sourcing or development, or whether it's pure CP, so how would they actually find their niche to start off with? So
look, the thing with a good software engineer is they are well-rounded. Okay? They know how to write their basic DS algorithms. They know how to integrate an LLM or some amount of AI into their project, and they know how to make their backend systems efficient. Okay? Front-end ki baat I will not talk a lot because I have barely any experience with it. Okay? And that is again something that I have been forced to learn at Rakuten. So yeah. So keep in mind you will eventually learn everything. As a software person, there is a very good chance if you're doing everything right, after a point you will have knowledge on a lot of stuff. Maybe a decent amount of backend, a decent amount of AI systems, a good amount of DSA knowledge because you did a lot of CP, a good amount of UI UX because of front end. But yeah, starting point key when we are talking about the starting point, just pick up whatever excites you. I've had friends who loved doing CP just for the fun of it. They just in their free time they'd be solving lead code. In my free time I'll be building projects. So your entry point doesn't matter that much as long as you're willing to explore. Don't be hesitant ki I'm a backend engineer, I want to be a backend engineer, I will not do CP. I'm a backend engineer. I will not learn AI. I will not learn how to write frontend. I'm a Python programmer. I will never touch Java in my life. Nope. But yeah, at the same time, it comes back to that thing. Don't jump ships. Okay. So let's just say, I'll just give you a classic example. Uh, this was part of a hackathon at Rakuten, Hackathon 2024. I worked primarily AI back then. With me was one of my very close friends who I still go to hackathons with, Aditya Narayan Patra. So he's great at AI too. So we were both with AI. We had two other people from other colleges. One of them was great with product. She was great with coming up with pitches, PPTs, and one of them was exceptionally great at frontend. There was a distinct lack of backend there. My time at Wells Fargo as an intern was again mostly working with AI, but I had a couple of co-interns who were, I would say, at that point in time, I looked at them as masters of backend. Looking back, it was a good amount of backend, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, exposure. I got to talk to a couple of them. I explored a little bit of backend, and I put all of that backend into practice at Rackathon. Had I been of that mindset, कि I work with AI, I don't know what backend is. I have very minimum exposure and self-rejected. कि I can't write backend. I probably would have never won that hackathon. And yeah, when the opportunity presents itself to learn, be it in a fast-paced environment, be it in a controlled environment, don't let it go. If you think this is one skill set that is required in this project of mine, learn it. No one else is going to build it for you. I mean, you could copy projects, but then we all know where that goes. So yeah, if there is a specific thing, let's just say there was this project of mine that I was working on that, yeah, it has been on my mind for about a year, and now it went to ETHGlobal as well. So it was mostly for crypto shorting platform. Again, for those people who are partly interested in finance, we mostly identified meme coins, scam coins, and just take a short position on them. This identification thing of how you do it is a lot of AI automation. So that is what I dived into. But once you get into that, now you have to know when I'm working with crypto, I have to write a smart contract to make sure my shorting actually happens, to make sure I'm redeeming my trade. It's right. So you have to learn somewhat of solidity at that time. Make sure you're writing your smart contracts correctly. I did not do that very well because I had a couple of teammates who were very great, who picked up solidity very fast and were very good at it. But yeah, it was my first bit of exposure. I did not go like, okay, I'm not looking at solidity. This is system. I looked it over very briefly, and yeah, that is where it comes. You find your entry point, and when the opportunity presents itself, learn. Don't hesitate to learn. That's the only thing I can tell when it comes to the domain of software. That's it.
So like we would have to, like, people would be attending the hackathons and picking up the skills would be the best way to learn new things, right?
Exactly.
So yeah. So we have all been that question that which project would be the best for me to set me into the industry, or that would actually get me into the industry or bag me a very big offer, right? So people have been asking this question. So what would be the examples of some of the very, like, not general or cliche projects which would, or like somewhat towards the better projects which would actually help them, they help the students to bag these big offers, or how to find them, or how to proceed in along building them. So what would be your guidance on that?
ऐसा कुछ golden project नहीं है. There is no golden project that exists. ठीक है. The only thing I'll say is, like Arya mentioned, very very well put. Don't build cliche projects. I don't want to see, as an interviewer, I don't want to see the 50-second to do app in one day. Okay. Be observant. Hackathons में यही फायदा है. There's this one advantage with hackathons. They give you a problem statement. That is an industry-wide requirement. That is a company-specific requirement. You get a good problem statement that is not cliche. Build it, you get a good project. But yeah, apart from that, be observant. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. You see कि there is. I'll give you this one thing. There's this meme coin going around right now. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with the meme. There's the meme of a baby hippopotamus. I don't think this is where you thought this talk is going to go, but yeah, this is where it's going to go. So yeah, there's this meme of a baby hippopotamus called Moodang. And there's a meme coin going about it right now, which went up like what? Gautam, kitna tha? 31%, right? 31% yesterday. 41, yeah. 31 or 41 in a single day. I mean, any guy with any bare minimum knowledge of finance, who has even made a single UPI transaction in his life, knows this coin is going to go down very soon. This is just a pump. It's a high phase. It's going to go down. Again, don't. This is not financial advice. Do not go and short this coin. मैं तुम्हारा पैसा नहीं भर रहा अगर loss हो गया. ठीक है. This is what I think. It is going to go down. ठीक है. So yeah, that is what I observed. Right. This is a simple observation. I have interest in the field of finance, and I see where movements happen. If you are interested more in the field of AI, look up repos, watch repos, how they are moving. If there's some interesting development that you think, if there is a quirky bug that you found, XAI is hot on the field these days. Look that up. So yeah, question kya tha? I forgot.
Projects like
Yeah,
like some golden projects that would pick, like,
yeah. So yeah, summarizing, there is no golden project. Look up problems, find them around you, build solutions around them. That is one way to go about it. And secondly, अगर दिमाग खर्च नहीं करना, be like me, go to a hackathon, बना बनाया, you get your problem statement from them, build around it, fix it up, make sure it bags a decent price in the hackathon, make sure you pitch it well to the judges, because the pitch that you're going to be making to your judges today might be the same pitch that you'll be making to an interviewer tomorrow. So make sure you're preparing that pitch, positioning that pitch very well. So yeah, there is no golden project. Find problem statements or go to events. They'll give you a problem statement.
Yeah. So like even if people are not being able to build projects, or they don't have any like product in solution, or they are not being able to make a solution in the 2 to 3 days, like 36 to 48 hours, even if they have a viable POC, if that would work, right? Because people often have this confusion, like, should we attend a hackathon if we don't have a product, or we cannot build a product, we are not confident enough to do that? So a POC or a presentation, would that suffice? Like,
More than
what
enough.
would be your advice on that?
More than enough. The projects that got me my Wells Fargo internship did not bag a single win. They were just prepared very well. They were pitched very well. They did not win. I was inexperienced. I did not know how to pitch. I did not know how to position my pitch. But yeah, those were the very projects that did not win hackathons that got me my internship at Wells Fargo. Even if you build a POC, even if you refine your idea, fuck building a POC, even if you can refine your idea to a good enough state during the course of the hackathon, that's more than enough.
People learn to like the quality, teamwork and everything, which would set them in the corporate scenario. That is more important, I believe.
ये तो इंटरव्यू की बातें हो गई, टीम वर्क वगैरह. But yeah, focus on refining your project. Teamwork, yeah, it's an added plus. But yeah.
Okay. So Omkar, like it would be like the questions are like we have reached the end of questions. So it would be nice if you could like just down the following, if like people like TLD are a little bit into that, and if you could just down the suggestions that you would have for the second and the third year people over here.
Oh, rapid fire round.
नहीं मतलब rapid fire, we would have the questions, we would bring the questions. अभी like if you could like थोड़ा TLDR अगर मिल जाता लोगों को, and that would people would like वो याद रहते लोगों को.
अच्छा, TLDR. Okay, understood. Don't take college too seriously. I mean, take it as seriously as it is meant to be taken. ठीक है? Don't fail your classes. Don't bunk to a degree जहाँ पे you're getting debarred. But don't take it too seriously. As in कि ये नहीं हुआ तो I'm done. If this doesn't take off, I'm done. This is where you explore. And the beautiful thing about exploration is you fail. Okay. So there's no need to be afraid of failing. Okay. For the second year people, do not think I need to grind harder than anyone else. Although that is what you should be doing if you want to excel your peers by leaps and bounds. But that should not be at the cost of your own mental state. That should not be at the cost of everything else in life. You have to chill around. Find a field that you actually like. That is, if I were to give one piece of advice, find something that you actually like, not just for the sake of money. Yeah, I came in for the money. I stayed in because I liked it. Yeah, that's the thing. If you are into something that you genuinely like, trust me, it's a lot easier to work harder on something that you genuinely like. That's it. Find something you like and just let it kill you. Not literally, figuratively.
Okay. So like if the people over here in the chat have any questions for Omkar, like that would be like that you want to be answered. Yeah. So if you could
we used to do this. I forgot. We used to do this. We used to ask questions at the end of the session. Yeah.
So if people in the chat if you could put in questions that you might want to get answered, so we would put that in for Omkar to answer. So kindly put down your questions. because we would have this questionnaire session for the next 5 to 7 minutes. If you want to get them answered, please post your questions in the comment section.
Oh. What advice would you give to students of electrical who are interested in core, especially for second years? देखो, on the core side of stuff, whatever I'll say, it will be in general because that is something that I have not explored very deeply. But if there is one thing that I'll tell you, don't ignore your apti. Don't ignore any of your aptitude problems. That is how a lot of great people that I know in core missed out on opportunities in some great companies like ITC. ITC asks apti very heavily. अगर तुम्हारा apti sorted है, then you can even overpower people who are better at core engineering than you. I I don't. Ah, yeah, I remember it distinctively. I ranked, I believe, highest in ITC ka OT shortlist, not because my core engineering was great, but I scored almost a perfect score on the apti side of stuff. So yeah, focus on your aptitude. Baki for what exactly to do with core, I think that is something you'll have to ask whenever the core alum session is taken. इलेक्ट्रिकल वालों को रखना है यार कोर में, पहला कोर का क्वेश्चन आया इलेक्ट्रिकल का. Yeah.
Others, put down your questions.
No pressure ऐसे क्वेश्चन पूछने का.
नहीं, अगर पूछना है, if you want that to get answered or something.
नहीं पूछना है भी तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. No pressure.
बाकी CS fundamentals, this is okay.
MTech final years who are interested in software, dude, I have never been in these shoes. I mean, whatever I say, it is based purely off of observation. There's a couple of MTech co-workers that I had at Rakuten, and I think you guys just need to be a lot more stringent when it comes to your interview process. Whatever I've heard from these guys is they grill you a lot more in interviews. They expect you to know the nitty-gritty of the tech. So yeah, unlike your BTech counterparts, the only advice I'll give you is, again, take it with a grain of salt because I'm just going off of my observation, not something that I've lived through, is you need to know the nitty-gritty of the stuff. Just building a cool project isn't enough anymore. Just building an LLM integrated application isn't enough anymore. Right? You need to know how it works under the hood. You need to make sure your system is resilient. You need to make sure your NFRs, your non-functional requirements are met in your system. When you're writing a system, it has to be reliable. It has to be, its downtime has to be minimized. Again, all of the more technical aspects of software engineering. What was your daily routine? I don't think I can give my honest daily routine here. That was a bit controversial, especially during my third and fourth year. Okay. So I'll give you an ideal daily routine that you should follow. Again, realistic but ideal. No need to go to every single class you have. Go into classes that you think are critical to your exams. Like if you miss this class, it'll probably take me 4 hours to learn the same thing again. Go to those classes, which are a lot of classes, by the way. In electrical engineering, if you miss one class, there is a good chance you'll have to give in 2.5 hours later to learn it. Only advice being don't miss classes when it is the introduction or the starting of a new concept. That is especially harder to follow up with, right? And secondly, get back from class, focus on one hobby that you have. You can't just be grinding away for months and months on end. My daily routine typically was go to class whenever I could or whenever it was important. Come back. I used to skip lunch most of the days. Don't do that. Eat well. Yeah. But yeah, come back, go to the gym. And then I used to be back and start doing my GFG and lead code and maybe build a project till 12, maybe one. And then repeat that cycle all over again and wait for Wednesday because it was a break and the weekend. And yeah, chill. End of day, take your weekends, take one day in a week, relax, chill out. मैं क्या करता था, I won't be saying here. But yeah, take your days off. They are important to you as well. Daily routine, again, don't follow my exact template. Understand the philosophy. Work hard, play hard. That's the only philosophy.
So amidst the question, Omkar, I would like to take a detour. अभी like computer fundamentals, CS fundamentals, people often find themselves confused कि कौन सा करना है नहीं करना है, because internship में we know कि CN doesn't play a very important role. But CN
Hmm.
networking actually plays a role in the placement side of
Correct.
it. So if you could quickly
Hmm.
answer that, that would be very useful, right? Because कौन से को focus करना है fundamentals regarding the intern side and कौन से को करना
Hmm.
है for the placement side of it.
Okay, ठीक है. I'll just take it apart individually. Fundamentals में what's mostly broad strokes में important क्या है? Firstly, your OOPS, DBMS, OS, networking. ठीक है. OOPS मत पढ़ो. इंटरव्यू कल है, आज रात को बैठ के oops खत्म हो जाएगा. That oops को you don't need to give more than 1 day. It will get wrapped up. It is very theoretical. You implement 10% of what you learn in theory in practice. ठीक है. Even at an enterprise level, whatever you learn in theory, you implement at max 10% of it as an entry level engineer in practice. Your interviewers don't expect any more than that either. When it comes to DBMS, thoda nuanced answer. The answer is a little more nuanced because there are aspects of it that you need to be in touch with regularly. ठीक है. Like when you're working with a backend, मैं जब projects बनाता था, I used to have local databases, SQLite 3, Great DB. Unless required, I used to never go for a NoSQL cloud database. But yeah, SQLite 3, keep on practicing it. There is a Python wrapper, there is a JavaScript wrapper. Practice around it. It will help you master your SQL queries, your joins, and all those fundamental चीजें जो कभी whenever an interviewer asks you to write a SQL query, this experimenting around, messing around with this library is what will make your SQL stuff very, very efficient. Other than that, there is theoretical stuff here as well. There is normalization. There is n number of things in DBMS as well. तुम्हारा snowflake architecture, all of this three level architecture. You don't need to be in touch with this every day. It's just that interview के 1-2 days पहले, just 1-2 days before your interview, brush up on them. Make sure you're strong on the practical side. When it comes to OS, it's again mostly theoretical. Go on to your standard websites. क्या था वो?
GFG
What are your
होते हैं फिर interview bits.
GFG,
Yeah.
Prep Insta, उधर जाओ. Just brush up on your basic questions. ऐसा नहीं कि you prepare very high level and then you fuck up on what is a deadlock. ठीक है. ठीक है. Brush up on your basic questions. Networking, again, it is a nuanced answer because there are fundamentals that you need to revise in the last few days of your interview, especially for placements. Internships, I don't think this will carry that much weight. And there is some aspects of networking जो कि practical development में भी बहुत important है. For example, there's people even in enterprise levels who are still confused with what a masked and an unmasked IP is. ठीक है. This is something जो कि in day-to-day development, if you're doing good backend engineering, then you need to know how to make a masked, unmasked IP, how to enable your calls requests, all of this stuff. So development में a decent amount of your networking will be covered, and the rest of it, the theoretical stuff, leave it for just before the interview. In crux, to just put everything in a neat summarized wrapper, the things that you can do practically with your CS fundamentals, do them via projects. The things that are theoretical, leave them be for 1, 2, 3 days before the interview. ठीक है, that's it. What should be prioritized more, DSO development? Can you share the pros and cons of prioritizing one more? Take your pick, dude. Pick your poison, DSO development. But yeah, when I say pick your poison, you can't go full in on development. That is one constraint जो तुम पे है. DSA you need to have a basic amount of knowledge, नहीं तो OTE clear नहीं होगा. Development you need to have at least some developmental knowledge, नहीं तो interview में you'll have nothing to say. Your interview becomes another DSA round. ठीक है. For starters, I'll say mess around with DSA. Don't do DSA with this objective of there's this question, I need to pass all test cases. ठीक है. Try to come up with the approach. Why is this working? I've seen many people who just copy paste code off of GFG. That never made sense to me. That will never make sense to me. Because unless you think about a problem and how you solve it, you will never be good at development either. DSA ki thinking pattern is what helps you become a good developer as well. DSA may not be explicitly used at all times, but the thought patterns count. So yeah, Ghuma phira ke, the answer that I'm trying to give is start off with DSA. You don't need to go to a candidate master level, but you need to have all your topics covered. And development, you can do it parallelly. You have to balance both. There is no picking one or the other. If you pick one, it's already a con. There is no pros with just picking one. So to answer your question, can you share the pros and cons of prioritizing one more? If you're doing both and prioritizing one more, there are no cons. But if you're picking one and not doing the other at all, it's just a con. There are no pros. Life will become very hectic. I mean, that is, I have heard from many seniors that after becoming a software engineer, life will become very hectic. Is it true? I mean, that is true for any line of work. You become a software engineer, life will be hectic. Unless you're in some government line of business. Again, this is something that I've again heard. कि government jobs chill hoti hai. I'm not sure. There are some companies which are very chill. My seniors told me Wells Fargo was chill. There's my friend sitting right beside me who's still working, debugging his Splunk logs. I have a meeting at 8 with the US team. So yeah, life will be hectic the moment you enter corporate because these companies are paying you and they expect work out of you, which is why I say it's very important that you do something that you love. If you come in to something that you don't like, you'll get burnt out 10 times faster. Me and my friend right here, I'll just name drop him. This is Gautam who's sitting right beside me. So so we have spent nights just brainstorming on how do we debug this issue, and it was fun. It's important that you do what you like. That's it. Life will be hectic. To answer it in short, life will be hectic.
Okay. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you, Omkar. We would not take more of your time. So it was very nice. Like it was a pleasure having you on board with us. That would mark the end of the session today. And yeah, thanks a lot again. Thanks a lot,
Or
everyone.
just a quick call out in case you have any more questions, anything else. Just
Of course, if you have more.
I'm pretty sure you guys have my number. I was in the same position as Arya last year. If there's any second year who wants it, just ask your third year senior. Just drop me a DM. I might not get back to all of you. I barely open my phone these days. It's mostly dead. It's still dead in the background. But yeah, in case I do, just take my advice. Bug me, bother me. Just keep on shooting text to me so that your name is on top and I will eventually reply. It's not because I don't have time. It's just that I barely have time to touch the phone anymore.
Okay. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you again, Omkar.
And yeah, थोड़ा training committee का बात सुनो. They're there for a reason. They are there for a reason. ठीक है. चलो. Thank you
Okay.
guys. चलो.
Thanks a lot.
चलो. See you guys. Bye bye.